Mm. Mhm. All right. Hey everyone, looks like we are live and rolling. Everything looks good on this end. I'm here with Sophia tonight. We've already been chatting a bit about past life regressions and all these magical things, but Sophia's here with me tonight to interview me a wee bit. We'll have a conversation around the Red Lotus Regression event that I have coming up next weekend, a co-creation event with two beautiful friends and sisters, Bianca and Celine. And so we'll be hosting this at the Art and Living Space out here in Pauahatanui area. So yeah, welcome Sophia. Here to have a conversation with me. How are you tonight, Sophia?
I'm doing swell. Thank you for asking. I'm actually enjoying a little bit um, nighttime energy. It's cooling down a little bit here. I'm on the other side of the world here, and so yeah, enjoying a cup of tea. So cheers. Uh,
Yes.
cheers to you and yours wherever you're at. And from the AZ to the NZ, we're taking the time to connect. And so really, really curious about this event that you are co-hosting. Sounds really exciting. I'm bummed I'm not there to experience it. Um, but in the meantime, I will live vicarious through all of you that plan on attending. And so um, sounds like a really special and unique concept. I know that I have had a past life regression session with you. I've done other guided meditations that have been wonderful. Um, but the thought of having this whole community and the connection and collaborating with others, from what I understand, you will be inviting 10 souls, so 10 people to join this beautiful collaboration of yourself with the past life regressions and sound healing, right? And
Mm.
Reiki.
Yeah. Yes.
That's freaking amazing. So it's like a wow, it's like a powerhouse, right? In the sense I think of like the Reiki with the sound and the past life regressions. How does that all work? Like,
Yeah, it's a big amalgamation of all those things to really support and hold like a big space to transform. And we'll all be operating simultaneously. So we'll all bring in little bits at the beginning. So we'll just gradually guide everyone. There'll be a bit of sound that's separate from the past life regression, and there'll be a bit of Reiki at the beginning that's separate. So we're gradually, softly bringing everyone into this really deep journey. So it's nurturing and gradual at the beginning, but we're going really, really quite deep for this past life regression, and
mm,
having it in a group setting helps us to be able to hold bigger space as well so that we can go deeper and hold bigger and facilitate something that's this co-creation of all of our energies that are going to meld together, and each layer is going to help the other go deeper. So yeah, this is the first time the three of us will be connecting and facilitating something like this as well. So it's really special, being our first one. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, and I think too, just from knowing you and um, the beautiful women that you're working with and how each of you uniquely has something to offer as far as your healing and your expertise. So to have the benefit of you all joining
Mm.
to offer that and basically create that space and allow that space, holding space for everyone that's joining, right?
Mm. Yeah, definitely, definitely, definitely.
it sounds very unique because I've had experience with more of the one-on-one. And so to think of showing up for a past life regression session and having the support of the sound and the Reiki element to it,
Mm.
just sounds wonderful. I mean, it sounds like a very deep healing.
Space. Yeah, it really is. And part of what I do when I journey is I quite often will imagine the sound coming through for me that helps to hold that space. Especially in the big clearing, when you're doing a big clearing, quite often
Mm.
I'm hearing like the kind of sound that would come through. And so to have it actually be there, um, for the participants when they're in that space, because sound has the most amazing resonance to go deep
Yeah.
on a cellular level and really clear and cut through. And so what we're doing when we're going into the journey is, we're going into past life regression. You can visit anything. I've created a past love regression where you go and you feel your most love filled life. You can go to like a wisdom retrieval regression where you're going to like an ancient remembering of a time when you were a wisdom keeper or something like that. But a traditional past life regression is going into a life where you really had density and suffering, and that is rippling through into your current
Mm.
life. And so this is really going in and like unhooking those tethers of where we are experiencing that reverberating into this life. Like when you see things show up constantly in your life that are like a repetition over many many
Mm.
years, decades, and you're like, this is
Mm.
old me. This has to be old
Yeah.
me. Like I've done so much clearing, and I've done inner child, and I've done past, like I've done generational things, and there's still these lingering aspects that I can't shift. Then going into a past life can really help to like untether. And I think that's where the sound can come in. And what Bianca brings in isn't just crystal healing bowls. She has like a variety of instruments and different drums and cymbals and just beautiful sounds that are just going to create an array of tapping into different emotions and where those emotions are like stored and tapped and into the body. And so that'll help to release that. And then I go in as well, and I have these big clearing chants that I do that will also like kind of like call that release of whatever it is that is stuck, that is kind of like filtering through and into this life. So
Mm.
yeah. And the
Mm.
Reiki is just really going to support that energy to like shift and move as well. So Celine will be going around just holding big space, or she'll be going to each person. She'll be like tapping in and seeing who's really maybe kind of struggling through, or they've got a big thing they're clearing, and she'll be there with them, and then she'll move around to different people. So that's where we feel like about 10 people is probably enough at that point, just
Right.
to make sure that we can like get a good clearing for everyone, especially everyone gets a bit of Reiki throughout the journey as well. So yeah, it's a big space, but it's lovely. It's full of love and light, and in terms of like the deep clearing. So yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
And it seems just overall, like being in a setting like that, the benefit of having multiple people, right? I mean, um, opposed to a one-on-one, you have um, yourself along with two others and 10 souls present to support and love one another through this guided journey.
Mm. Totally, totally. And the experience that you get with the group setting there's a vulnerability that comes with that too. Quite often there's sharing, like you might be encouraged to share your intention as to why you want
Mm,
to do the journey. Maybe you have a reoccurring pattern in your life around relationship dynamic or money or your health. Um, or you just can't get past some stuck block, internally. And by sharing that, there may be other people in the circle that also share and have a similar thing that they're also working through. So
mm.
it's, you don't feel as alone in your
Right.
suffering and what you're going through. Like you feel like the burden is shared, but also when we come out of it, and we've cleared, then the clearing is shared as well. And so it's like this big lifting, that can
For
really.
sure.
And then, when people come back and they share what they have seen, through the past life and through the experience and what came up for them, you just don't know who's going to show up. And there may be connections through past lives, and people visited places that were similar to each other, and you just don't know, right? that's
Yeah.
that's just
Right.
me,
No, that's
right?
exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting. Totally. Totally. And because we've all had past lives together. So you just don't know. And anything like that is synchronistic. If you're there at the same time as someone else, then there is this, when you're at a big, potent space like that, then there is some kind of connection there that, you
Mm.
know, is worth looking for. And, I've been watching a lot of Robert Edward Grant recently. I'm a little bit obsessed with him and watching all of his YouTube videos. And he has a lot of amazing sayings that he says. And one of them that I really like is he says that, coincidences, he's something like coincidences. If you think coincidences are like accidental, then you're not observing the pattern. Like you're not looking high
Mm,
enough, or noticing the pattern that is playing out, in terms of like the people that are coming into your life and things like that. So the people that are going to be there are going to be there to hold space and travel together through this as
right.
well. Totally. And support each other through it. Mm.
Yeah, that's what I would think of as like divine timing, everything in its divine timing in the sense of
Mm.
who everyone that shows up, knowing that you're coming to this session, regardless of what maybe you're there for or what you think you're there for, right? Because
Mm.
because you're going like deep from what is I mean, when I think about sound and Reiki, along with your guided meditations, from what I understand, um, you work with Archangel Metatron
Yes.
and Inanna as a guide through these
Mhm.
sessions.
Mhm. Yeah, both of them, yes, travel. Always, whenever I do a past life regression, they both come through. And I've cultivated my past life regression offering through the many past life regressions that I've experienced myself. And so
Okay.
different aspects of the regression come from different past life regressions that I've had, that I really enjoyed the way they guided that. And so I've taken that and encompassed that and kind of melded into something that really has a frequency for me that I really enjoy. And
Mm,
one of the very last past life regressions I had last year, that was held within Metatron's frequency. And so that was a really potent vision quest thing that I just
right.
expansive that I went on with a a beautiful practitioner that holds amazing space. And so that really came through as a big, potent aspect for me to bring Archangel Metatron in. And I haven't worked with any other archangels before, and
Mm,
I've resonated with the, Metatron's cube, the, sacred geometry. Years before I knew that it was Metatron's cube, I was just attracted to it and had some earrings and liked the sacred geometry of it, and then found out that it was Metatron, and then Metatron was Metatron for a while until someone was like, oh, that's Archangel Metatron. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's an angel. So, like all these things. So I was really attracted to it before I knew that it was Archangel Metatron. And then learning those new aspects to like the guiding force that can come through from there has just like increased the potency of the past life regressions as I've been kind of going through and refining it and yeah, creating that space. And then Inanna is a Sumerian goddess, and she's the goddess of love, of war, of ascension.
Wow.
Also, all the lights are flickering. She's coming in, and of the drumming, she was one of the very first goddesses that was to do with the drumming, which is what Bianca found out. I didn't know about that, and because
Oh,
Bianca's all about
wow.
sound and the music, she was researching that and found out that aspect about Inanna as well. And so she's very happy that we're talking about her. The lights are going crazy.
Wow. I
Um,
have the lights flickering here too.
oh, amazing.
Yeah,
And
over the last few minutes, I'm like, what is that?
yeah.
Okay.
Amazing. And so they both bring a different aspect. And for those that don't know, Inanna, Inanna is the precursor within the goddess um, morphing through the different pantheons of Persephone within the Greek pantheon. So they both
Okay.
like the seven layers of the depths to get to the unconscious, to get to journey into what we are hiding within our shadows. And so they both have this ability to bring light down and shine the way. And so that's why she's so
Oh,
potent to travel with as well. So yeah, they both bring in like a different aspect of what we're clearing within the past life regression as well. So yeah, in one sense, Metatron is about like bringing the gifts from the regression. So it's about going in, and we're doing a wisdom retrieval dive is what I've chosen to call it now. It's like a deep dive,
wow.
and the shadow work. I still like the term shadow work, but I call it like a wisdom retrieval. We're going in. It's going to be a deep dive, and and we're looking for the pearls of wisdom, the nuggets of gold. What is the lesson? And to bring that out, and to not be too attached with the trauma or the heavy dense emotions in the situation, the betrayal, whatever happened in that past life,
Okay.
caused it, but to look at it and to be able to view that situation and think, okay, yeah, that's where I'm feeling it in my body. And notice where you kind of like feeling it in your body, and then to clear that with Metatron.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's quite big. Mm,
Yeah, I mean, so it sounds like we're going like deep into layers. So
yeah,
so having the assistance of both of those guides to really is like the shadow and the light, right? Bringing light to what's in the dark so it can become
totally,
exposed,
totally.
right? Or be brought to light, right?
Yeah, exactly. Brought to the light, exactly. And like, there's this despair that quite often happens in these like tragic lives that we've had. And
Mm,
then we do go into the death portal. So the death portal is a really potent place where if you're dying and you are holding on to these lower density emotions like anger, grief, resentment, shame, guilt, all those heavy, and you die and you take that with you, that's like the anchor point that then that threads through to your next life, and that threads through to your next life, because it's that you're dying with that energy. So it's like gonna keep going. So we go in and we clear that.
so
We
the
go in and
idea
we
is
clear that.
not only what's happening currently, but for future lives as well.
Yes, past, present, and future, clearing across all timelines. Yeah, exactly.
That's intense.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
Strap
big.
on.
It's big, man. It's big.
Yeah, buckle up, buttercup. We mean serious business here, right? Wow. So, whose grand idea was this, or is this something that you all had known each other previously and kind of, what you did and decided to collaborate with something like this? I mean, because sounds amazing.
Mm, yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, at such a deep level, Nicola, and I mean that because I've had past life regression sessions or maybe a one-on-one. Um, I can see the benefit of meeting as a group and having that support of one another because I've personally been in situations where it's one-on-one and I've for lack of better terms may feel cornered or in the sense of I don't know how deep I want to go, right? Because it might be uncomfortable. Um, so being part human, I have these walls up somewhere in my mind where I'm like, where do I really want to allow myself to go with this? Or
Exactly.
maybe that's too much, right? But I do know the comfort of when you have like-minded souls or maybe somebody who's experienced something similar and
Mm,
knowing that you have that support going into something, then I would feel like maybe those walls are broken down a little more and I can really allow myself to just let go and receive
exactly.
those deeper layers of healing.
Exactly. Exactly. And even though like Inanna and Metatron come in and I bring them in quite intensely, like a lot of people come out of the past life regression and they say, "Oh, my grandma and my auntie, they were with me." So
Right.
and we call those in as well. We call all those guides in as well before we start, what at the beginning part before we get into the full journey. So they come in at the same time as Ananda and Metatron. They're all there with you. So whether or not you journey and you see Ananda or Metatron, they're there and they're there supporting my energy for my what
Right.
I'm holding as well as journeying with each individual person.
Mm.
But yeah, people come out and they're like, my dog was there with me, and whatever that support is, they
Oh,
they will be there, and Ananda and Metatron will bring them in place what you need. So it will be the guiding support that you feel that you need, and even if that is another goddess or archetype or anything coming in to support as well, then
okay.
that will be brought forward because that is within the realm of what you're healing and what you need. So yeah, it's
Okay.
all open. Yeah.
So that's something you might sense. So perhaps if I worked with a certain archetype or deity that's coming through to guide and support me,
Mm.
then you open the space to that. Essentially, I see like this huge bubble, right, that you're wrapping around everyone, a safe, supportive space to allow for release, cleanse, and transformation for past, present, future, right? I mean,
Mm.
wow.
Yeah.
So if I were to have my auntie or my great aunt and grandmother show up to
Yeah.
the party, right, to support me, then you welcome that support in. So imagine that times 10, right?
Mm.
Plus plus.
Plus, 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 plus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like literally on my notes, it's got big clearing in capital letters like 5 times. Like this is the big clearing portal for each of those two portals of clearing before we, yeah, come through
Wow.
quite a bit.
Wow. So if this is your first time doing this and like individually, like I know your standard of work, like professionally, like how amazing you are with what you do with your guided meditations and journeys.
Mm.
Um, so I can just imagine like so if you have 10 souls that are showing up and there's still room, right? So
Mm.
like
Yeah, we've still
if
got room for another four or five, 4 or 5. Yeah.
okay, all right. And so this will be coming up here on the 19th of October.
Yeah.
And so if I wanted to join, obviously I'm not in New Zealand. This is something that you're doing live in person, or will you
Mm.
be, yeah, because you've got the sound, the Reiki. So
Mm,
this is happening live
in
at a
person.
physical location.
Yeah, yes, yeah. It's a beautiful home. Beautiful space. They hold a lot of events there, a lot of like psychic reading nights, cacao ceremonies, breathwork ceremonies. They had a guy there who creates giant Merkabas out of copper that you can like sit in, and then they do sound around you. And so you're just like infused with this like Merkaba energy.
Oh,
So like there's so much like high vibrational stuff going through that
oh, for
place. So
sure. For
yeah,
sure.
so yeah, the frequency of the place is really high, and it's located like on a big plot of land. So there's a lot of like natural hills and trees that you can look out onto. And yeah, beautiful big white room with bifold doors that look out. There's a big pic-
Nice.
there's a big picture that I will be sitting under probably of the Joshua tree. Yeah,
Now, is that a synchronicity or what?
I know,
I know
right?
you and those Joshua trees. Come on now.
You know, I'll be there
That's
soon.
pretty
I'll get over
amazing.
there. I will get there at some point.
So you have the Joshua tree supporting you.
Yeah, totally. It's amazing.
That is pretty amazing, actually. For those of you who don't know, Nicola and I, we have our Witchy Talk podcast, and we talk often of the Joshua trees, which are the national park is not too far from me here in the desert Southwest. So the hope is in our future life here coming up shortly, we shall meet
Mm,
and greet and visit Joshua Tree.
mhm.
So it's nice to see that they're supporting you there as well.
Yeah. I'll send you a photo of the layout and everything so you can see it there. Totally.
Wow. I mean, it sounds so magical
Mm,
to think of uh too, just as an offering,
mm,
right? I mean, you beautiful souls coming together to facilitate this at such a deep level. How
mm, mm,
amazing.
yeah, definitely. And the power of your own intention of what you are wanting to move through will open that up, right? So if you've got deep stuff, but because it's such a powerful journey, like you want to be also relative, in sound body and mind, like you want to be going
Mm,
into this journey probably having done a little bit of other work prior, guided meditations, you've had Reiki sessions, you understand the journey, that you can't that it is a deep process, and be open to that. I wouldn't say that this is not a beginner's journey
okay.
and I think you can feel that as well. It's definitely
Oh
not a
yeah.
beginner's journey by any stretch, especially because it's in this group setting. I think a one-on-one past life regression would be, you could do that as a beginner's journey, but I don't think that in this big capacity you want to have, yeah, a little bit of experience and knowing and understanding of where the journey could take you, because it's, yeah.
The intensity, right? I mean, I think to receive like the maximum benefit of it, right? Because you have all of that energy
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
being moved through, and it sounds like a lot of clearing. From what I understand, this will be like 2.5 hours
yeah,
roughly.
yeah, yeah,
I mean,
totally.
that's intense. I mean, I've had sessions that maybe half an hour, and I'm feeling, I think when you go through a session like that, you may feel tired, or, like you need to rest, you want to hydrate before and after, you want to make sure that you have the rest that you need before and after.
Yeah,
Um,
we're taking the red lotus tea is we'll have that for people to drink before the journey, and then it'll be a gentle guide into the journey as well, so there'll be the tea ceremony and a bit of Reiki and a bit of like a just a soft gentle guide into the meditation portion. And then when you come out of it, there'll be a lot of allowing the body to receive, and journaling and sharing as well. So
Oh,
I think the intensity is like being able to hold yourself in the clearing and allowing that to happen. But it doesn't have to be like so big, it's big, but it's gonna clear a lot. It's gonna clear, definitely. Yeah.
so already being prepared for that, like mentally showing up and expect to experience a type of clearing, you think that would help me to prepare mentally, like when showing up? So like I have those walls and I say I'm showing up and this is what I can expect.
Yeah, exactly. Like get a good night's sleep the night before and journal and be aware of, do your own meditation the night before and see what is coming up for you to be cleared. Do an
Hmm.
internal inquiry,
Hmm.
you go online and you book the ticket, and then you're like, okay, I'm opening myself up to the energies of what this is. And, you know, as we prepare for it, we are rehearsing and we're gridding ourselves, we're gridding the space, and that's going to reverberate out to the people that have
Yeah.
booked. And so the energies are going to start working with you before you even arrive. So
Before you even arrive, right?
yeah, totally. So you may feel the awareness of like, okay, I thought I was going to work on that, but I've got this download or awareness or synchronicities are coming up, and it's like, I can really see that pattern there. And this thing happened yesterday, and now I booked the ticket, and then that happened. So that's going to be the thing I work on, and then journal on that the night before, and be intentional about it. And then it will be a big journey, but if you've been intentional about all of that, like you'll still be held beautifully, and you'll still have that beautiful transition and clearing through it. So yeah, it's not the kind of thing you want to show up to hungover and you had hardly any sleep, right? I think you're in the wrong place if that's the case, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot to process. It's, mind, body, spirit, holistic. And I think that's what's so wonderful about this approach with the sound,
Mm,
and the Reiki and the past life regression is that each one of those supports one another.
mm, mm, mm,
And, so when I think about the overall outcome and you providing this assistance and guidance
mm,
for someone to really break through, right? And have that opportunity to go deeper into those layers. When you say like past, present, future, like that's pretty insane, to think about that, because knowing that your thoughts or whatever layer. So let's get into the past life regression, right? So let's say for instance, I may have gone back several thousand years that I'm aware of,
mm,
right?
mm,
So when you're going deeper into these layers and you're working with Inanna and Metatron and these things are getting exposed,
mm,
what is the outcome from there? Like if I was working with you and I'm attending the Red Lotus ceremony with you all and something's come up that I'm not expected or maybe um resistant to because it can be a little bit scary,
mm. Totally.
right?
Totally. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's like the support afterwards as well. Like the three of us are there to do follow-up sessions with people as well. And if they came out of something and felt that it was the clearing wasn't enough, then like for me personally, I would offer a complimentary session just to follow up and do a deep clearing, um,
Yeah.
to follow up on those things. But part of the journey and the words that are used and the sound that comes in, like if you truly allow yourself to detach and we set the space and we clear and we bring you in, and if you can follow the words feel it and hear the sounds that are being brought in. Allow yourself to receive the Reiki. It's a surrendering. It's a surrendering to allow the process to happen. And the shopping lists don't come in, and the future planning doesn't come in. And I need to book those flights. Did I turn
Well,
the
that's
strapping irons off? If that doesn't come in and you can be fully present, then we can clear it, right? Then we'll be able to clear it. And there's no distraction. So the idea is that you're fully present in the journey. So that's why I feel like quite important to have all the intentional setting beforehand, and you arrive not rushed, and yeah, like all these
mm,
different things to you're putting yourself first in this instance for your
mm,
um overall well-being, but also your future self, and for being able to get to the things in life that you want, because you're trying to shed those layers that are keeping you
mm.
stuck, rut and routine, and these situational things that keep showing up that are not desirable. So it's, yeah, but there is there's a level of being able to view things when they're happening within the past life as well, that are guided through. So if something intense is happening, then, if you view from third person, you look down on it like it's a movie.
Okay.
You look
Okay.
at it's attached, and there's always constantly the affirming that there's no cords of attachment. We're removing any cords of attachment to this life, and that life that we're viewing. And so, yeah, there's definitely um protocol that are in place to make sure that that life stays as that life, and we're not
Yeah,
bringing and anchoring, or yeah, anything new into us.
yeah, because I have experienced that before, and it was kind of scary. It was a little
Mhm.
bit overwhelming, and perhaps that's where that extra guidance comes through. With the guided meditations and the assistance, and knowing that you're staying on track, and the goal is to move deeper into these layers to clear, right?
Mm, mm, mm,
Um, Opposed to more of like the sessions, or a couple of sessions I've had where we're going back for an instance of viewing something,
mm, mm, mm.
right?
Yeah.
So what's different about this, it seems it's not you're just going back to view or visit a timeline or a timestamp or a situation, but
Mm.
you're going there to clear, to accelerate
Yep.
your your best self, in other words, right?
100%.
Connecting all of that to your future self in a it's like clearing the slate, in other words, right?
Definitely.
Clearing through the unnecessary baggage and bullshit so you can get there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're cutting the fat. Like, so I don't
There
need
you
it.
go. There
Yeah.
you go.
It's it. Totally. And I hadn't experienced that in any of the other past life regressions I did. Like I said that at the beginning, that what I offer is a culmination of a lot of the different past life regressions I've had. But none of the past life regressions I've had the clearing aspect. I've added that in from the trainings that I've had with different
Mm,
people
mm,
that utilized that, but not in a past life regression. They utilized that in other, aspects of
okay.
internal work. And I was like, okay, I'm going to put this in here. We're going to go in here, and then I'm going to put that there, and then we're going to clear it hard. Yeah. So yeah.
Well, I mean, that makes sense, because how many times can I revisit it, right? I mean, how many times can I revisit a situation?
Mm, exactly. And we go over and over and over, right? But ideally we go once, and that's it. So yeah. But you can go back to a different past life and clear that. But ideally you're not going back to that same one, you know? Yeah.
Or it seems, if we're really going down into the layers, like maybe what I've experienced or feel that I'm revisiting is because I had to go back to level one to get to the root of it, to clear that so I can move forward.
Mm. Exactly. Exactly. And what you just said is what we do is we go to the root life. We go to the with that blueprint of whatever it is that you experience was created. So whatever that template is, it was created within that first experience that you experienced
Mm,
betrayal, or like the sister wound, being betrayed by a friend or a lover,
yeah.
backstabbing, or someone stealing your ideas and portraying them as their own, or whatever happened, being exiled,
Mm,
out into the desert, like whatever
mm.
happened within that past life was the first time it happened. So usually we're going back quite far to deserts, jungles, really,
I'm sure. I'm
Egypt.
sure.
Yeah, like I mean, we all want to land in some exotic place like Egypt or somewhere, but you just don't know. But just has many arches. So it's kind of like a transitional place where it's like,
Okay.
yeah. So I always land in the same place. Yeah. So when I'm guiding, but I haven't actually tried to guide my own past life regression. I've definitely done meditations where I've seen a past life regression, but it wasn't this format. So yeah.
Wow. Wow. So,
Mhm.
like, how do I sign up? I know I can't be there in person, which is a bummer.
Right.
It sounds fantastic. I mean, I just think about like taking it to the next level, right? I mean, um, and how important it is when I realize on this journey how important it is to be in sync and alignment
Mhm.
with my future self, right? It's like tapping into that
Yeah.
sweet spot, tuning into where I should be and what I should be doing. I mean, that's where I feel like it's kind of like this whole shift and energy and time and space right now is to be there
Yeah.
in that moment in that space because I've felt that push and pull of understanding like past situations or things that I may have dealt with
Mhm.
and recognizing it now in the present, but how do I connect the dots to connect and be in alignment with my future self,
Yeah.
right?
Like- And that's like another layer of a completely different journey that you can do, which is like a timeline journey, which is like condensing time within the timeline that you're living now,
Oh,
and you're
oh,
like bringing your future self to yourself, and essentially this came through in a plant medicine journey a couple of weeks ago. I don't think I've talked about it to anyone. Oh no, I have to remember it. It's still there. So when you are, oh, please come back, please come back. When you are hearing your guides,
mhm.
essentially your guides are your higher self, and your future self. So your higher self is your future, more aligned self that is coming back to tell you what to do. So when
Okay.
they are also angels and they're also your guides that are allocated to you, but your higher self is this future timeline of yourself. Your ego coming through is your lower density saboteur self from past or future timeline that it's coming
Wow.
through to berate you. So if you can imagine yourself in this present moment, when you are berating yourself about a past event,
Hmm.
you're essentially being the ego, telling that past self all the horrible things and giving that voice to that place and time. Does that make sense?
That does make sense.
Yeah, am I explaining it well? So if you're sitting there being like, fuck, I really fucked up 10 years ago when I did that
Yeah,
thing. So
yeah,
dumb. Fuck, fuck, fuck.
yeah, Yeah, I was there the other day.
Time doesn't exist. It's all, so you're telling yourself, then you're giving yourself those horrible thoughts by thinking that. So this is how we can change the past by, and this is why the internal inner child work is good, but also in a teen and just in a young adult, because these are all the
Yeah.
times where we like make all the stupid fucking
Oh
mistakes
yeah, yeah, for sure.
that we regret. I mean, we still make stupid mistakes into our 40s that we regret, but you know, like if we go back and we berate ourselves constantly, we are yeah, projecting into that timeline negative self-talk. Whereas if we can talk to our past self in a beautiful way, then we are projecting our higher self into that timeline for that version of ourselves.
Okay. Okay.
Trying to
That
explain it a different way. Yeah,
that's making sense.
that's
I mean,
amazing.
because I was there the other day and I'm like, why is this coming up? You know, it
Mm,
might have been 15, 20 years ago. And then I found myself going down this little hole
yeah,
of why am I going back there? So perhaps it's something that I'm revisiting because it was not resolved,
yeah,
in the sense of I'm going back there and criticizing myself when I'm not there anymore, but
yeah.
mentally there may still be some connection there. So the idea is
Mm,
cutting that at the root, right? So
mm.
I can revisit it in a loving way, in a
Yes,
loving space.
yes, totally. And then this is the other aspect of, you just touched on it. This is the other aspect of that that came through. So if we have all these billions of timelines based on all of our billions of decisions, if we can go back and radiate love into all of the different timelines where we
Mm,
feel like we fucked up,
yeah,
then we're elevating those timelines. And so the more elevated timelines that we have, the more our current timeline is also going to elevate.
it's also
Whereas
going to elevate with it. Yeah.
we're constantly berating all of our timelines, then our current timeline is also going to be lower density. So the more we can radiate loving frequency into our past, and I mean, we quite often berate our future self for future dumb things that we think we're going to do, don't we? So if we can radiate love into our future self as well, then if all our timelines are higher vibrational, then it's going to condense into this current timeline being more higher and more aligned and more synchronicities. And Robert Edward
Huh.
Grant said something. He said, the more synchronicities that you notice, the closer you are to individuation. And individuation is when you've integrated your shadow. So that is when you've looked at all your shit, you've realized why you're being a cunt all these like all you know, your whole life. You've forgiven yourself for it, and you've realized, and you don't be that, and you don't do that anymore. And so that you've integrated your shadow, and that doesn't mean that you've gotten rid of it. That means that you can see yourself for those things. And so the more synchronicities that show up in your life, the more that you know you're on your path of individuation, of like not being in suffering anymore, of not having the shadow like weighing
Mm,
you. Yeah. Yeah.
mm.
So doing a past life regression is just another layer of helping that up and out as well. Yeah. I see you like think processing, and that was
Oh
quite a lot.
yeah.
It was quite a lot.
Well, I'm just thinking, how fantastic is that? I mean, because when I find myself going there for those moments, it's like, what am I feeding? Like what thoughts am I feeding? And even though I'm maybe living in the present moment and I
Mm,
revisit the past, if I were to revisit the past and shower it in love and light, in the sense of I'm coming from a different space, even though it was in a past time, so I can love my future self more because I'm not going to go back there,
yeah.
right? I'm loving my future self so I can align with that, so I don't go to the past. The past is different in a sense. It's changing the story.
Yeah. And that's how you stop the cycle of repetition. Totally. Yeah. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think that we had the capability of doing that.
I know, right? It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
changing our story. So I'm not revisiting the past to criticize or beat myself up. I'm
Yeah.
revisiting the past to change it and rewrite my story
That
in a loving way.
rewriting and reframing as well. Yeah. Reframing. So what, and it's hard because so I did this last year or the year before. I went through all of every horrific, tragic, bad decision event. I wrote all of them down, and I started from
Mm,
the easiest ones to rewrite and reframe. And what was the
mm.
positive that came out of that, all the way down to like, this horrific thing happened to me. How can I rewrite this? How can I reframe this?
Yeah.
How can I shine love on this? And but yeah, I managed to, and then that it transformed that situation and that event. So yeah, it's this reframing, and then again, Robert Edward Grant, fangirl, he said, um, he said how anything that's happening in my life, and I guess you can, can be part of the reframing as well. It's not why is this happening to me? It's why did I choose this for me? And if it
Mm,
keeps happening,
mm,
why am I continuing to choose this for me? Because
mm.
clearly not fucking figuring it out or learning or or realizing what's going on. So yeah, how what can I learn from this situation so it doesn't happen again? So yeah. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Exciting stuff. So,
Yeah.
yeah, you're looking forward to it, it sounds. And this is coming up in what,
Next week.
less than
Next weekend.
in about a week?
Yeah. 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 Just over a little bit over a week. So yeah, very big.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So if I'm showing up, I'm gonna bring some water, wear something comfortable.
Yeah. Bring a blankie. We'll have blankets there, but it's always good to bring your own blanket and
Yeah,
yeah, because you're gonna go
yeah.
be laying down and on the yoga mat or yeah. Yeah. So
Wow, wow. And have an open mind and an open heart, obviously. Um, be prepared and open to this, right? You want to show up to get the maximum healing,
mm,
and I'd say the more open you are, probably the deeper the layers you can go through, right?
totally. And it's good to have an intention of what you want to clear, but the journey will take you where you need to go as well.
Right.
You could set the intention that I go to the life that needs to be cleared the most right now. Like that could
Mm, mm, mm.
not like I have this specific thing with this specific person and all these intricacies that I want to clear because that could be actually um kind of like derailing you from like a bigger thing. We struggle to see the bigger picture sometimes of like what needs to be cleared. So just
Oh, yeah. So if you're just so fixated on one little thing, right?
mm-mm, totally.
And then you can't see everything else around you. We've talked about that before.
Yeah, you can't see the forest for the trees. Totally. It's like tunnel vision. Yeah, you can't see it.
Well, who's to say it even is that little thing? It
Mm,
could be something from a past life, right? It
yeah.
could be something that has happened before that has stemmed that or triggered something that you feel is that little thing, but really that's not what it was.
Mm-mm, totally. But
So
you're
it's getting to the root cause of whatever sparked that thing that you think
totally
it is.
exactly. Exactly. But it could just be like my relationship with money could be your intention, if you want to build your wealth and or my relationship with men or the opposite sex or whatever, or my partner,
Yeah.
we're having conflict, it just yeah. It could be anything.
Yeah.
But then just go in with the surrender that yeah, the like you'll go where you need to go the most as well. So yeah.
And you guys are offering this at an awesome price,
Yeah.
in comparison to, like, if I were to go and visit you individually or any one of you individually times three,
Mm.
because it is a group setting, then you have a discounted price in the sense where um, it's less of a cost than what I would
Yeah.
typically donate for something like this, right?
It's very reasonable. $66 and it's very cheap for what.
Yeah. Wow.
Totally. Yeah. All the instruments that Bianca is going to have there to bring the sound in, and to have specific Reiki for each of you. And this big journey is, yeah, it's going to be pretty epic.
How beautiful and how special. And so if you want to sign up, how do I do that?
Yeah, we have a ticket link, so I'll put it, under or above or somewhere on
Okay.
the link of the video. Yeah, that'll be attached, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Show up and expect to be hanging out for
Yeah.
2.5, 3 hours, I'd say.
Yeah,
You
two and a
drive
half.
there and
Yeah.
and so how does it look like if I were, because it sounds like a really deep and intense session. So you're there for 2.5 hours with the practice and however that should move. Is there a resting period afterwards? Because I'm thinking, I don't know that I'd be able to get back in my car and drive right away.
Yeah, I mean, you could, the parking there, you could get in your car and have a nap. You don't have to leave the property straight away. You could jump in your car and just drive a little bit down the road and park and have a nap. I've done that from events before.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially something that deep like that, I mean, I might need a rest afterwards. So it sounds like it's a very accommodating place as to where this is located.
Yeah, yeah, it is definitely. And yeah, there's definitely space to park before you go out onto the motorway, where yeah, you could just sit in your car. And but we always set the intention as well that you're awake and alert for driving if you have to drive. And if you're gonna have a nap in your car, then yeah, have a 20-minute nap. Set the alarm on your phone or something.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I'm excited for everybody that's attending, and what a pleasure, what a treat. And thank you for all the service that you're doing in the community to help others. I've got one more question for you, Nicola. What do you most look forward to? I know it's your first time collaborating with these two young gals to do something like this, but what are you really looking forward to, and what portion you're facilitating for the Red Lotus?
Hmm. I'm looking forward to, in such a big, beautiful space that has the frequency that it does. A few things, about three things. The first thing I'm looking forward to the most is when we call in Inanna and Metatron into that big space with Bianca's sound. Like they're just gonna like drop in. I've got chills. Like it's such a big space to hold that. And then the other thing I'm looking forward to is like doing the clearings with them, like going in and just doing these big clearings
Mm.
again with the sound, and to journey with them. And then coming out the other side, I'm looking forward to like hearing about everyone's journeys, like where they went. I'm always so excited when people come back. I'm like, where did you go? What happened?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
How exciting. How
yeah.
wonderful.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
Absolutely. Right
Yes.
on. Well, that's a great way to spring forward.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, it is a
What
perfect
a
way to
what a
spring
great
forward.
way to spring forward. A clean
Yeah,
slate, clear through some baggage. Um,
release a whole lot, totally.
yeah, release, make room for your new, working towards your best self, right?
Definitely. Yeah. Well,
Oh, how wonderful.
thank you for taking the time to talk with me about it today, even though you're so far away on the other
I know
side. And
I'm bummed I can't be there. I'm like, sign me up, please.
you know,
Sounds so magical. I mean, what a treat. I really I take real well to sound. I work with a lot of instruments and the drums and the triangles and the different sounds. It sounds like so magical and wonderful to incorporate that in such a healing space.
yeah, yeah.
Especially beautiful energy and beautiful energy workers you have, knowing yourself and the wonderful people that you're working with in such a space like that. And then I'm thinking about all the copper. I'm from Arizona, which is the copper state of the world. It's
Really?
one
Oh,
of the biggest copper suppliers in my hometown, and so that is a really great energy conductor.
yeah. He won't.
So
Those um those Merkabas won't be there, but they've been there. They've been
they've
in that,
been there.
but
Yeah,
they won't be. Yeah, exactly.
they've been there.
I want
Yeah.
one.
So it's just keeping that energy flowing. And that's what I foresee is, showing up to a space with like-minded people that are there to show up
Mm,
for this clearing and for this healing, and to know that
mm,
you have the support of others that are around you, and sharing that energy to keep it moving, to process for something as grand as this.
mm, mm.
um and I do believe that everything happens in its divine timing, so to say. Nothing is coincidence, in the sense of I'm excited for all those that are showing up to connect in this time and space, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I'm so excited for the people to arrive and to be there and be present for themselves. So, yeah.
Wonderful. I'm packing my blankie, and I'll be over, I don't know, we'll say in about 20 hours or so.
Yeah. When I come
So,
to
Nicola,
Arizona, we will
dude,
facilitate.
Josh, hey, I'll send you some Joshua trees.
Yeah, exactly.
Wonderful. So, Nicola, you will share the links. Don't forget about it. And you still got time to sign up. It
Mm,
sounds like there's a few more spots still yet. And also a great way to connect with like-minded people. I think that is always wonderful in itself.
It's always
Um,
the people that you're there with, you develop such a great connection with. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what it's about, is connection, right? And so um to have that opportunity as well, to get out and have that support. I know how important it is to have that community support and support of others, that
mm,
just not feeling judged, or
yeah,
kind of like kind of like flying solo, right? But
great.
having that support of others that are there wanting to do the same thing as you, and building those friendships and those connections.
100%. Exactly. Exactly. I love it.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
thank you for being here with me. And yeah, we'll sign off now. And yeah, all the best, Sophia. It's
yeah,
been,
likewise.
thank you so much. From the
Thank you, and
AZ,
sign me up.
yeah,
Keep an open spot there for me. I will be there in spirit.
you'll be there in spirit. Totally.
Well, right on. Cheers. And
Yeah,
until we meet again.
agree. Okay. Bye.